JJ, as I guess kind of pairing these together, do you have anything more on Luka? And then, how were you guys able to rally without him, especially after Philly, I think, was like 6-0 run before you called timeout to start the third quarter? And, must have been some kind of emotional loss just not having Luka out there to start that.
Yeah, he, felt some soreness in his hamstring. So, he didn't feel like it was good enough to go back in. Neither did medical. So we held him out and he'll get some imaging. I mean, too early to say if there's an injury, but just had a sore hamstring. So just in terms of the group, I thought there were starting with Luka having to come out of the game. I think there was a lot of things that didn't go right that game, and it wasn't necessarily like out of effort or execution, but we had a lot of turnovers, and that really hurt us in the first half where, you shoot 50%, but you have, I think it was 13 turnovers, including the team turnovers, which gave them a lot of life. And then the group that closed and really everybody that was out there in the second half, I thought our toughness and our physicality really just allowed us to get back in the game. Maxey made a number of plays that don't necessarily show up on the box score, but you had a Gortat on AR in the first half, had the Gortat to help close the game with LeBron's dunk down the middle, and just played great defense. I thought while Maxey scored some, I thought his containment when he switched on to Maxey was Tyrese Maxey, that is, was really good. And our whole bench, Rui with some big shots in the second half, Vando, Smart, Jake, those guys. It was their toughness that really got us going.
Obviously, you had Austin on the minutes limit, and he was so efficient in the minutes that he had. What was that kind of tug of war of trying to buy some time? No Luka, and Austin's in the bench.
We're just going to keep him on a 25-minute limit if he's going to score 35. I mean, he was unbelievable tonight, and it's just his drives. I know he made threes tonight and hit a couple that were pretty incredible, but his drives and his thrust got to the free throw line, but just got in the paint and made plays and scored at the rim. It was great to see.
Yeah. What did you say to your team after a win like that, where so many guys were doing little things to contribute to it? What was kind of the message?
Well, everybody gets credit for it. Maxey certainly got some credit, and I thought, again, those guys I kind of singled out. Their toughness really helped us kind of gut out a win to me. They played really good together basketball on both ends, and it's a night where Embiid had it going, and there's not a lot you can do in the middle of the floor. It's just not. And it didn't matter if we kept a primary matchup or if we switched on to him or if we pre-switched. It just, he was really good tonight. And the one thing, I don't know what they ended up with 5. Yeah. It was like, do you make an adjustment? Do you, because we did make adjustments throughout the game, but do you front and back them and make them throw it over the top? Do you fire? And they made a lot of 2s tonight. And so, as long as you're sort of living with the contested 17 to 18 footers, and you're in the game, you feel like you got a chance.
Austin was self-deprecating with us in Brooklyn, saying he scored 15 points, but didn't feel like he had a rhythm. Can you contextualize just how impressive it is to go from that, missing 19 games straight, to, he had one of his strongest games of the year today?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big difference between, a couple weeks of stay-ready games playing against Bo Levesque and Jadarius Troutman and Matt Noling and those guys, all very respectable players, but they're not VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey and Quentin Grimes. It's remarkable what he was able to do tonight in his second game back.
I asked this in respect to Maxey, but I'm sure this could apply to other guys on the team. How much is toughness and the, ability to stay ready, even when you're not in the rotation regularly, how much of that is a skill?
It is a skill to I think know who you are as a player and embrace what the team needs. I think that's a skill, to be honest with you. I know that potentially is also a mindset, but it's also a skill. And Maxey, it doesn't matter if he's played and, had a big impact and then is, a DNP the next game, or even when he was, battling through some injuries to start the season, his spirit, his approach, his being a teammate, and rooting for other people, it never changes. He's just, for all our guys, he's a easy guy to root for.
JJ, the trade with Atlanta went official. Yeah, so you can talk about it now, I guess. Just what was your reaction to getting Luke Kennard and also to losing Gabe Vincent?
Well, I think I'll start with Gabe. His teammates loved him. His coaches loved him. Really just from a professionalism standpoint, just embodied everything that is good about this game. And, I do think the way he finished last season and the way he started preseason, we all felt like that he was going to really have like a breakout year for us here. And, unfortunately just, had a bunch of injuries and, He's a good player and an even better person. And we're all, I've told Gabe this many times, we're all grateful that, we got to work with him and be around him. And I told him that this morning as well. We're very appreciative of him. Excited about Luke. I've known him for 12, I guess about 12 years now. And, think he's, one of the best shooters in the NBA. I'm going to, and highly encourage him to shoot more, and not turn down shots. But I think one of the underrated parts of his game, is his ability to move and create second actions and move the basketball. And you've seen that now, at a number of his stops where you can initiate the offense through a off-ball movement, and he will just make the right play and sort of get the offense going. So he'll be a corner threat, and it'll be an off-ball threat, and we're excited to have him.
All right, guys. AR comes back, Luka goes out. It's just kind of been the way this year has gone, unfortunately. Don't know to the extent of it. Have not heard from Luka. JJ gave us a little bit there just in terms of the hamstring tightness, Rob, and the medical staff and Luka kind of deciding that we won't go here in the second half. So all you can do is just be a little concerned until we hear better news. I don't know what else to say, really. It's just, it's kind of been the way this season's been going, and you just got to keep going.
He had this issue early in the year, I think, where he got hurt, something like this, and he sat out, and then he came back well. When you have AR back, you're allowed to do this because, you say, okay, we can bring in a guy who's basically the same player, but, and I think for me, sometimes when you're at this point in the season, you need to just say, okay, we played a lot of games. We was on the road. We did a lot of traveling. Been sitting around a lot. Let's just make sure I'm okay.
You played a lot of basketball in the summer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a perfect move. But my thing is, I always look at guys' body movement. And when he was walking back to the locker room, I didn't see a grimace. Mm-hmm. I didn't see any pulling on or touching it. So I think he'll be fine. Okay. I hope he'll be fine.
Yes.
He's had a lot of miles on his body. He's played a lot. And so you have to be aware of, little soft tissue injuries like that. So it didn't look like it was too severe because he walked off, but sometimes it's like a little pull in there. You just don't want to extend it. You don't want to mess with it. So I'm glad they set him down.
All right, let's get you to the highlights. Lakers taking on the Sixers as they return home from an... Let's check out the Lakers calendar. 4 games left before the All-Star break, all at home. Saturday against the Warriors, that game's on ABC. A fun back-to-back Monday, Tuesday with the Thunder and the Spurs. And then before All-Star break, you got one with the Mavericks. And then the first game out of the break, Lakers host the Clippers on February 20th. Rui Hachimura, speaking to the media.
Rui, so you came out of halftime and obviously you knew that Luka wasn't going to return, and then Philly went on that 6-0 run. How did you guys recover mentally or emotionally from that point on and come away with the win?
Yeah, I think it was like, next man up. I think he obviously got hurt. We didn't know what was going on, and I think we talk about it in the game. We gotta stick together. We're in a kind of bad rhythm too. The first half. So we just got back. And we got this dub. So.
Maxey was talking about the message at halftime being about like we should just be more physical. How did you feel like that was brought by pretty much everyone out on the court? And is that a style of play that if you guys lean into it more in this final stretch of the season, you can find more success?
Yeah, especially if stuff started from him, today. And the Vendo too, you guys saw that he fouled like 3 times being the physical, that position. And we got stopped too, actually, but that kind of set the standard, especially in the second half. And, everybody was physical, being physical, especially the Maxey, he did a really good job on the Embiid and, everybody else, those, the offense rebound and stuff. So yeah, he made a big play today.
Rui, you're a veteran player now. How much have you found being physical? How much is that a skill and how much of that is a mindset?
Yeah, it's I think every year kind of, the NBA changed the rules, so being those like a physicality, that this is like what's the foul and that, kind of we always figure it out every year. But, I think this year, the referees letting us fighting more, and being physical. So for us, I think that's what we need. We talk about it since the season started, that's going to be the key for us, every game, play hard and be physical. So I think those games that we win in, I think most of the time we've been really physical, so I think we got to keep doing that.
Taylor. LeBron James and the Lakers are about to meet their new teammate. We'll discuss the Lakers adding Luke Kennard heading to LA at today's deadline. Lakers fans, Spectrum Sportsnet Plus on the NBA app is your ticket to Laker games on Spectrum Sportsnet all season long. Watch games on any device, anywhere in Southern California, without a cable or satellite subscription. Sign up at NBA.com/Sportsnet and start streaming Spectrum Sportsnet anytime, anywhere. Lakers are back at it Saturday, hosting the Warriors at 5:30. The game is on ABC, but as always, pre- and post-game coverage is going to happen right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. So, Lakers, Warriors, no Steph tonight. Warriors beat the Suns. Expect Steph to be back on Saturday, and maybe Kristaps Porzingis, the newest member of the Golden State Warriors. That's going to add a little more flavor to the game.
The well-traveled. He's
yes.
traveled a lot. I think our guy, Phil Jackson, probably named it the next unicorn. Mm-hmm. It hasn't really worked out for him, even though he won a championship with that dreaded team in the East. He still hasn't really found his footing, I don't think. You think about it, him and Luka used to be teammates. You forget about that.
That's right.
And so he's been around a lot, and hopefully he continues to not find his footing come next time they play the Lakers.
He could be a great fit, though.
Yeah,
with that Warriors team.
Healthy, no question. He's a matchup problem, especially, when he's playing small forward or forward or power forward. He can shoot, but he just hasn't proven that he can be effective because he's injured all the time. He's not on the floor.
Gotta love starting this homestand off with a win, especially the way they were able to do it tonight. Comeback fashion.
Yes.
Robert, we'll see you when? Maybe next week.
I don't know.
All right. Rob, big game, Trudell. We will see you on Saturday.